April 5th will, of course, be a heavyweight showdown as Richard Torres takes on Guido Vianello. A very great fight. And the co-main event is Lindolfo Delgado taking on Elvis Rodriguez. Another very good fight. Now, of course, this will be a great fight as both are Olympians. I do believe Richard Torres is a silver Olympian. And Vianello was just a regular Olympian. Still, obviously, you have to be really good to make it to the Olympics. So, still a very great amateur background. But besides that, let's talk about the co-main event. Elvis Rodriguez, the Dominican kid, 17-1-1. 13 wins by way of knockout. Of course, his one loss was to a great fighter in Kenneth Sims Jr. majority decision. Now, of course, Kenneth Sims has upsetted quite a bit of people. But besides that, Rodriguez has some very great wins on his record, being Joseph Adorno, Victor Postal, and that's about it. But besides that, very good resume all around, really nothing out of the ordinary. Now, of course, the weird thing was with the Joseph Adorno fight is that neither of them really wanted to fight each other for like a little bit. Like they were just content with just not throwing punches because I think this was a make or break fight for both of them. I think of whichever one lost was basically out of the A side like indefinitely. But besides that, he is facing the undefeated Lindolfo Delgado, 22-0, 16 wins by way of knockout. Of course, he is coming off of his 5th round stoppage victory against Jackson Marinez, 22-3. Before that, he beat the undefeated Brian Flores, 26-0 with 1 draw, split decision. And this is a very interesting one because, if you see this right here, Flores down in round 3, meaning it's a 10-8 round for Delgado. Flores was also deducted 1 point for a low blow in round 7. So, yeah, oh my God, he escaped that loss because a 95-93 in his favor. Oh, that would have been a split decision draw. But besides that, he has also beaten Carlos Sanchez 25-2-0 with in the 7th round. Now, of course, Delgado has some good power, 72% knockout ratio, very good. And overall has around the same thing as Rodriguez, nothing really out of the ordinary for his resume. Pretty good. Especially 24-0 Omar Aguilera, who he beat unanimous decision. But he has been consistently fighting people with less than 5 losses, except for the 21-6 Clarence Booth. But whatever. But it's a very good fight, as Rodriguez has a ton of power in his punches. This man can knock you out. Delgado is more of a break you down type of fighter. You know, not a one-shot knockout type of fighter. But he does have power, so that's always something to think about. But the thing I do think about the most is that Rodriguez has the better resume with Victor Postal and Joseph Adorno on his resume. Now, of course, he didn't look the best against Adorno because neither of them really wanted to punch each other. But Delgado has had the better, more recent opponent, so it's a very interesting fight. But besides that, the person I think who wins this fight, I think it's going to be Rodriguez. Flores is a good fighter in himself, and he was landing some very good shots against Delgado. And I'm just saying, if I know just because one person landing good shots doesn't mean the other one will, but that's what I'm going off of. I think Rodriguez lands the same type of shots, but they will be a lot more devastating. Being able to stop Victor Postal a lot more convincingly than the person who stopped him before. He's also beaten people like Juan Pablo Romero, 14-0. 5th round stoppage win, and he does have some decent defense. You know, he's not a punching bag. So give me Rodriguez by late round stoppage. Give me him stopping Delgado in the 8th round. It's a very close fight. Both have good resumes. Both have power. But it's just, I think Rodriguez's power will be the deciding factor in who wins this fight. But besides that, the main event, 2 Olympians. Richard Torres Jr. and Guido Vianello. Now, Vianello is 13-2 with 1 draw. 11 wins by way of knockout and 1 loss by way of knockout. Now, of course, his 1 draw came against Kingsley eBay, 5-1, majority decision. His knockout loss was against Jonathan Rice, 15-6-1. 7th round stoppage loss due to a cut, which is what people were saying that, oh, he only lost because of that cut. But at the same time, that cut was from a punch, so he still lost convincingly. But besides that, Rice was also coming off of 2 good wins between Michael Coffey, and then he rematched him and beat him again. Jonathan Rice was coming off of 2 good wins, full of confidence, obviously. Although that loss probably isn't the best, it's not that bad either. But besides that, his other loss was against F.A. Ajagba, 19-1, split decision loss. Very close fight. Really nothing to complain about. Both were landing their huge shots. But besides that, Vianello is coming off of the biggest win of his career against Arslanbek Makhmadov, 19-1, where he stopped him in the 8th round. Overall, complete domination in that fight. He was using his footwork, his just straight up power boxing, as people like to say, really defending himself well from any real big shots from Makhmadov. So, Vianello is a tested fighter with great skills and power, so it's going to be a very tough fight for Richard Torres Jr., who he himself is 12-0 with 11 wins by way of knockout. Of course, the one decision win was actually not a decision win at all. It was a disqualification against Joey Dawekjo. So yeah, he got disqualified for spitting out the mouthpiece a lot. So technically, he should technically still be 100% knockout streak. But he does have Brandon Moore, 14-0, 5th round stoppage victory. He also beaten people like Isaac Mujos Gutierrez, 3rd round stoppage win, 18-1-1. So he is coming off of his best win to date. Well, not really to date, right? But he is coming off of a good win. Torres Jr. is himself a very good fighter. Some good footwork himself, obviously, due to being a Olympian. He has power, obviously, having a 91. Well, it should be technically 100% knockout ratio, but we never know. Maybe Joey actually survived until the final bell. But one of the bad things is first of all, he's never gone decision, so that's obviously a very important thing to think about. Matter of fact, the times he went past round 3 was only 3 fights. 3 out of his 12 wins, 3 out of his 12 wins have come after the 3rd round. So obviously we have not seen his gas tank put to actual use, right? And he's taking on Guido Vianello, who's fought F.A. Ajagba, who obviously can punch himself. And he took some really big shots against Jonathan Rice. But one of the more important things is that, unfortunately, I think Vianello takes it. Vianello has power, obviously. He has the better win and has fought the better opponents even through his losses. He has, to my knowledge or to what I see, has better footwork. The punching and all that stuff, for the most part, they're around the same in terms of skill level. But Vianello is really light on his feet. I thought that Usyk was light on his feet. This was probably lighter on his feet. Now, of course, he's not as good as Usyk, right? But he's light on his feet. He has power. He has skill. He has all these things. I think he's just overall a better fighter than Torres Jr. Now, of course, Torres, like I said, hasn't been that far in fights. You know, the 8th round was the latest he's been, and that was back in 2023, or the end of 2023. So obviously, there's a lot of questions for Torres. Can he make it past the 2nd round against a very skilled fighter in Vianello? Obviously, his power can still stick, considering he stopped the dude in the 8th round. But that was not someone like Vianello. Vianello is arguably probably twice as good as the best fighter Torres has fought. Now, of course, that doesn't mean he's going to win, but it does say a lot. So I'm beating around the bush, obviously. I like Torres Jr. I hope he wins, but I do have Vianello winning. I think he's overall just a better fighter, super light on his feet, very strong punches, better shot selection. I don't say better shot selection, it's around the same. And I just think this is too much of a step up for Torres. But you never know. Torres could shine right in this fight. He has power, he has skill. I'm not saying he's just a chump. He isn't. But I do think it might be a little bit of too much of a step up. I think it might be someone. I think it's them trying to throw him into the spotlight ever since their other heavyweight, Jared Anderson, lost. So they might be saying, might be time to start promoting Torres a little bit more. But that's just merely speculation. No truth to that whatsoever. But besides that, what do you guys think? I have Vianello probably stopping Torres Jr. in like the 9th round or something. But what do you guys think? Who do you guys have winning? Leave it down in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. But besides that, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.